Hello friends, this is Growl. Have you been wanting to get into high Mythic Plus dungeons but can't find a regular group? Your experience consists of scrolling through Group Finder, waiting in town for an hour, then getting to do one key, only to wipe to the first boss and then have someone leave? Then you order way too much food from Uber Eats and then eat your sorrows away while watching your favorite streamer do keys into the early hours of the morning, wishing you had a group of friends that you could do the same with? Don't worry, I've been there too. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I went from a nobody to doing the highest keys in the world, and give you some advice so that you can try to do the same yourself. First off, we need to lower your expectations, just a bit. When you sit watching streams, you get a skewed version of what's happening that isn't really what World of Warcraft is for 99% of players. Almost nobody has the ability to just sit and stream WoW for countless hours every day. These groups that you see are complete anomalies, made up of the nerdiest of nerds. They are exceptions that rose to the top through careful planning, hours of practice, and let's call it efficiency. Even if you are in the situation where you can play all the time, don't expect to be able to find a crew of players that can do the same. The hardest part of groups generally is fitting the hours together. Sure, you may have a squad that can play for a few days, but then one person has something going on, another has work. Before you know it, the group that seems so synergistic is already off on their own separate ways. I love making the analogy between Mythic Plus groups and relationships. Just think back to high school. Everyone has had the feeling that they're alone, and it seems as if everyone is happy but them. They sit alone at the lunch table, feeling like they don't fit in, when in reality, she's crazy, he's a jerk, and 90% of the people in the room feel alone too. I'm not trying to make you think that it's impossible, I just want to temper your expectations a bit. If you listen to what I have to say, it should help you, but it isn't going to be the picture-perfect road that you envision. The most important thing is that you work on you. The better you are, both in-game and as a person, the more likely it is that when you find those right people, you can stick with them. Not everyone understands this. They think the path is to find the group first, then go on some magical journey to happy fun improvement land together. The truth is, you should do as much work as possible on your own first. Get as good as possible, really good. The wonderful thing about WoW is it isn't some mechanically difficult game. If you're watching someone in a video or a stream do something, you can learn to do it too, almost instantaneously. Watch the best players play, and record yourself, and watch back in the same way. See what the best players are doing that makes them the best, and incorporate that into your own game. Stop worrying about only that one mistake that caused the last wipe or deaths. Improve everything about your game. You can do this at any level with any group. If your own play is solid, you can focus on helping your party and working together as a group. The path to becoming a better player will deviate from person to person. My main point is just to worry about being a first-class DPS, tank, or healer first, and don't expect to find a group that will turn you into one. I left just one thing about being a good player out though. It's not enough to just be good, but people need to know you're good. Perhaps this is against the instincts of the more introverted players, but it goes a long way. I'm not saying you need to be bragging or annoying in comms. I think I can explain it better by example. Let me introduce my friend, Henry the Hunter. Henry's been working on his gameplay a lot, watching Gingy stream regularly, and he even starts his day with a delicious protein chocolate milkshake. Henry is almost an owner, but he's pretty quiet and doesn't say much when he's in groups. It's going to be hard for anyone to notice the good things he's doing, particularly in pug keys when everyone is just worried about their own play. What Henry needs to do is communicate with his group, specifically the good stuff he's doing. Hey, I'll drop a binding shot so that you can kite here when the healer's running low on mana. I'll freezing trap this patrol, it's running into us soon. I'm going to stun the next slam. This works in two ways. First, it's valuable to communicate with your group already, and second, it reminds them that you're doing helpful things and worrying about your teammates' success as well as yours. Now that you're big and strong, where do you even start finding groups anyway? I'm often asked by viewers where to find groups, as if there's some sort of WoW Tinder app where you can swipe right on groups looking for someone that plays your role. Don't expect to find a group of people just waiting around that needs a fifth. That's pretty rare. The most important thing you can do right now is to find good players who you enjoy playing with, one by one. Network with people, especially the key roles that are hard to find. In Battle for Azeroth, it was tanks and rogues. I think it'll always be tanks. They're definitely the rarities. Make good friends with the people who groups form around. But where do you find these people? Well, Group Finder. The answer is right in front of you, but no one wants to believe it. Sure, there are various discords, websites, or even in-game communities where people are looking for groups, but what is the difference between going to some community and using Group Finder? There is none. Well, actually, there's a little bit of one. From my experience, people from the communities are slightly more toxic on average than Group Finder. I think this is because communities are filled with people who think they are better than everyone around them. People who don't want to use Group Finder because they think they are above it and better than everyone else, and the only reason they're held back is because they don't have a team to carry them into the highest keys. Sorry if that's you, I didn't mean to offend. This isn't to say everyone in Group Finder is an outstanding citizen or everyone in communities is toxic, far from it. There'll be plenty of miserable and great people no matter where you go. Your job is to pick out the gems and make friends with them. Making friends in games is a lost art. I really think it is. Everyone's used to matchmaking where you just open up a game and press go, get thrown into some lobby with random people, many of which you already had muted from a past game. Whenever I pug in Group Finder, I'm shocked at how many people just leave immediately after a key. You guys complain about how you can't get into groups, but when you finally get into one, you just leave the party 30 seconds after opening the chest. I'm not saying throw out friend requests every time you do a key, but if you have a smooth run, you should always ask to do more. This is a bit of a tangent, but I think it's important to mention. You reach a point where you won't be able to pug into a key that's score for you, or the highest one of that dungeon that you've ever done. Depending on your spec and gear, it may happen earlier or later, but eventually it happens to everybody. If you watch a top-end Mythic Plus streamer, they don't sit around in town waiting for an invite to a plus 27 key or whatever. They push keys up in hopes that they'll get something good. Sometimes it might be a whole day of attempts leading to nothing, and that's okay. It's part of the fun, and it's what makes that good key that you eventually get so special. Anyway, back to making friends. If you pug a key and enjoyed playing with somebody, throw them an ad and send them a message. Hey, I thought you played well, let's be friends. It's that simple. If you made a clown out of yourself in the key and you're embarrassed, that's fine. Maybe do it a few hours, maybe they'll forget. When people invite you, try to say yes. Don't ask them what the key is, are you pushing, or how many do you have. Just say yes if you want to play. People often fear rejection, even if it's something as simple as a group invite. If someone asks you to key a few times and you decline them or ask them a question back, they're generally going to make assumptions and stop inviting you regardless of the circumstances. In that same vein, when you want to play, you should be staying online. Don't expect people that you don't know to go look for you to message you on Discord or when you're off the game unless you're very good friends. You are 5 times more likely to get an invite if you're online AFK in town. It's the universal, hey, I'm looking to play. You don't even have to be at your computer. Just leave the game open while you clean up the house or watch a movie or something. You can pop in every 5 or 10 minutes to check your messages and maybe check Group Finder for a good key. Sometimes you won't find anything and you'll sit on the bench all night. That's okay, don't give up. An alternative to this is being the networker. It certainly sounds nice to just AFK in town all day waiting for an invite, but the game will never start if everybody is doing that. If you want to get things started quicker, be the one that sets up the group. It can be a bit of a pain, but somebody has to do it. Start messaging people to play. Don't ask for some big commitment or make any promises, just look for people trying to game. Dealing with the logistics is annoying, but it pays off in the long run, and eventually people will start coming to you. If there's one fast lane to having a group for Mythic Plus, it's to be the person setting up that group. You won't find a group laying around, but I'm sure there's always tons of people that would be down to play, you just need someone to connect them. Alright, so you either set up a group yourself or found your way into one. How do you keep it? I've already talked about improving as a player and availability, so I'm gonna assume you're an expert at that by now. Let's focus mainly on attitude and communication. Absolutely nobody likes to play with a big ego, so throw that out the window as soon as possible. Well, maybe that's a bit unrealistic. At least put it in a cage in the corner of your room and don't let it out until you're done playing. Do your best to ensure the people you are playing with enjoy playing with you. Own up to your mistakes. Don't make a big error and leave your teammates wondering if you even realize what happened. It cuts down on the awkward stuff and gets you back into the game faster. On a related note, make it a point to not blame people for mistakes. If it's something that you think is holding your squad back, then talk about it later after the gaming is over. People are much less receptive to criticism during the run. Everybody has seen this one. The Demon Hunter dies immediately when the pull starts. I got meleeed, he announces in Discord as if to exonerate himself from blame and let everyone know that it was the tank's fault he died. Don't be that guy. Tanks hate it, healers hate it, everybody hates it. The faster you can learn to let bad things happen in front of you and focus on yourself instead of them, the better. I think this is not only true for WoW, but most things in life. That covers all I had to say about finding and sticking with groups for Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft. I know a lot of people want the one secret trick to finding a group forever. Unfortunately, it's a lot more complicated than that, and it's mostly a long road of self-improvement. I hope this video helped you. If it did, I'd appreciate it if you left it a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with more Shadowlands Mythic Plus content, from beginner guides all the way up to the highest level. I also stream on Twitch and just set up my new Discord, so I'd love if you came in and said hi. Happy keying.